Hey YouTube, it's Fluffy Bear again, and I'm here bringing you the second part in the importing into UDK lesson. So, this tutorial is going to cover textures and materials and how to place materials onto static meshes. So, here we go. So in the last video, if you didn't see it, we imported my M9 pistol into UDK and imported the texture and made the material like material, but it has no material on it. So if you have the material section, which you go from by right clicking on texture, create new material, and then you're gonna get this right here. It says material on the top. Double click that, and it's gonna bring you to this screen. This you can just get rid of, and this you can get rid of, and you can make it full screen. So basically, this black part and to the left is where your texture will show up at, and this gray part is your material editor, and this is where you link things together to make your custom material. And this bottom portion down here we'll get into a little bit later. It's just basically how you change some settings with the material. So basically what you want to do first is click on this texture sample, and it's going to come up with this texture, and it's going to tell you where you got it from, and it's going to have a place for description. You don't need to worry about that right now. So I have it clicked, and how you want to move this is to hit Control and just drag it around, and let's just place it right here for now. And how this works is by wiring it up to things. Diffuse is the just regular texture slot, and it's going to show your main thing. It's not anything fancy, it's just pretty basic. So you're going to wire this into diffuse by just clicking this black square and dragging it to diffuse. And when you do that, it's going to come up with this, and that looks weird, so you might want to change it to a plane or a cube. I want to change it to a plane, and up here it has cylinder, cube, sphere, plane. So go up to plane, and now that looks like my UVW map that I had for this pistol. So for now, we're pretty much done with the basics for the materials of this gun. There is other things like specular and normal maps and stuff like that, but I'm not going to worry about those for right now. That's for a little bit later, and you'll get the hang of it after a few times of messing around with this. So just hit this apply changes to original material and use it in the world. Once you click that, it saves it, and then just exit out of this. So now you have a material and a texture. Now you want to put this material on this gun. There's a few ways to do it. You can either drag this material to this gun and boom, it's on there. Or you can double click on the static mesh, go into LOD info, drop down, then hit this arrow with the 0 next to it, drop down, then hit the elements, drop down, and then hit the material equal none, and then the 0 next to the arrow, hit that drop down, and then it's going to say material. And it's going to say none. Well, what you want to do is go into your material or your content browser and click on the material, then go back to this Unreal Static Mesh editor for the M9, and then click this arrow next to material, and that will put your material in there. The difference between those two is this way you'll never have to apply that texture to that static mesh ever again. But the other way, when just dragging it on there, is if you have multiple instances of that mesh in the scene, you're going to have to drag a copy of that texture onto the static mesh every single time. So either way it works, but this is the most time consuming, or not time consuming, but the best time management way to do it. So once you have that done, just exit, and now you have a textured static mesh within UDK, and it works really well for this, and I really am like impressed with this and with UDK and how easy it is to use. So right now I'll show you how to import a bump map or a normal map. They're the same thing, it's called different. One program uses one term and another uses the other. But for UDK, it's called a normal map. So what you want to do is, assuming that you already have a normal map made, and what a normal map is it adds realistic texture to your object, and not texture as in a picture that's placed on a static mesh. It's a actual, like, you can almost feel it texture. That's what it's kind of applying to your touch sense, but it's really not, because you can't touch something that's not real. But that's what it's like trying to simulate. So how you do this is you right click and go to import, just like you're importing anything else into UDK. And since I already have it saved out, you have to make sure it's a target, of course. Every single texture needs to be imported as a target. So just grab the normal map, open, grouping, just put it as normal, normal map, and then just click OK. Oh, I kind of forgot to mention this, but in anything you do in UDK, do not put any spaces anywhere, because it will ruin it. Just sometimes it will work and sometimes it won't work. In this case, it wouldn't let me save it. So make sure you either use underscores or dashes or capitals and lower cases. Never use spaces. So now just hit OK and wait for that to import. And now it's going to come up like this. This is what a bump map or a normal map looks like. And we're going to do the same thing as we did for the texture. And actually, we don't have to create a texture for it, because what we're going to do is go into N9, go into the material, double click on it, and go out and get the bump map. Just click it, and then go into the material editor, press T for texture sample, that's the shortcut for it, and then left click, and then the texture sample will be in there. Now, just move this up a little bit and wire the black into the slot that says normal. And what that does is it just gives it a little more depth. It kind of does look weird in this this map, but it's only affecting the things I want. The white parts don't even matter on this model. So just click OK. And what it does is it just makes the gun look more realistic. So that's always a good thing. And that's what you're trying to achieve in games, to make it look as realistic as possible. And you can see on the handle how it looks a little, like, almost edges are raised without them actually being raised. It just gives the effect of more detail than you really put into the model. And there you can see it looks pretty nice. And bump maps are a savior in the game world, so they're really helpful to reduce polygons and to make your models look really realistic. So that's how you import and texture with materials in UDK. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you're looking forward for the tutorials to come. So please comment, rate, and subscribe, I will see you next time.